Hi boys and girls, this is our third lesson about arrays. If you remember from the first two lessons, arrays are groups of objects organized in rows and columns. These help us get ready for multiplication. We're going to do a new lesson now where we review what arrays are and then we play another game. Let's get started. Our PowerPoint lesson for today is called Hooray for Arrays, a PowerPoint game. What is an array? An array is a set that shows equal groups in rows and columns. Arrays make counting faster. You can arrange things in equal groups and count the sets. What is a row? Rows go straight across. There are 2 rows of lions. I like to think of rows as seats in a movie theater. They go from left to right so everyone in your family could sit together. Look at these arrays. How many rows do they have? Let's get started. How many rows are in this array? Think about it. Rows go left to right, like those movie theater seats. This would be a good time to get out a pencil and a piece of paper to write your answer down. The answer is 2. There are 2 rows in this array. This is the first row. This is the second. Notice how they go from left to right. How many rows are in this array? Remember, we're counting from left to right. Write your answer down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. There are 5 rows in this array. Good job. What are columns? Do you remember? If you remember, think of the answer in your own head. Columns go up and down. There are 3 columns of lions. There's 1. When I think of columns, I like to think of like a flagpole going up and down. Look at these arrays. How many columns do they have going up and down? How many columns are in this array? Write your answer down. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Do you notice how my line goes up and down this time? There are 7 columns in this array. 7. How many columns are in this array? Remember, our columns go up and down. Don't get tricked. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns in this array. There are 9 columns in this array. Good job. Now let's do a bonus question. How many rows are in this array? There are 9 columns. How many rows are there if we're going from the left to the right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Good job. What is repeated addition? Repeated addition means to add up all of the rows or columns to find the total. Repeated addition is the step before multiplication, and I know you're excited to multiply. This array has 3 rows and 4 columns. You can write it as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12, or you can write it as 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. Did you notice how either way we get the same answer? Very cool. Let's do some practice. What is the repeated addition number sentence for this array? Write it down on your paper and then I'll show you. The answer is 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. This problem, we only have to write one sentence because the number of rows and the number of columns are the same. There's 3 rows and 3 columns. What is the repeated addition number sentence for this array? Go ahead and write your answer down. The answer is 6 plus 6 equals 12, or 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 12. 6 plus 6 is adding our rows that go left to right, and 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is adding those columns going up and down. Either way, we get that answer 12. How do I write a number sentence with multiplication? By using an array. I told you repeated addition and arrays are the step before multiplication. When you use an array to write a multiplication sentence, you multiply the columns by the rows. You can also multiply the rows by the columns, and you'll still get that same answer. For example, you have 3 rows and 4 columns. You can say 3 times 4 equals 12, or 4 times 3 equals 12. Both of these answers are correct because both of them list the rows and the columns. Let's practice. What is the multiplication sentence for this array? You write it on your own paper, and to remind you, this is what a multiplication symbol looks like. You should have this in your problems. The answers are 2 times 3 equals 6 and 3 times 2 equals 6. Did you get the correct answer? Good job if you did. Air 5. What is the multiplication number sentence for this array? Again, we use this multiplication symbol for our answer. You should have 2 answers when you're done. Our answer is 3 times 5 equals 15, or 5 times 3 equals 15. When I count the objects in this array, I count by 5s because it's easier than counting by 3s. So I would go 5, 10, 15. Now we're going to do a new practice. This practice is asking us to do the same thing. We're naming the array by saying how many rows we have and how many columns we have. So you should be writing me 2 multiplication sentences with this multiplication symbol in there. Go ahead and start. What are our 2 number sentences? You should have written 1 times 5 or 5 times 1. What is our answer either way? Our answer either way is 5. 5 times 1 is just 5. Anything times 1 is just that number. Fun fact. All right, here's our next problem. You need to count the rows and columns to find your answer. Use a multiplication symbol for both problems. Let's do this one together. When I'm counting my rows and columns, I start by counting my columns. I'm going to put a line through each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 columns. Now I'm going to count my rows, and I can put a dash through each of those. 1, 2. So if I have 2 rows and 6 columns, my problem should look like this. 2 times 6. And then I can flip it. When I flip my problem, my answer would be 6 times 2. So my 2 answers are 6 times 2 or 2 times 6. Let's do the next problem. Name that array for me. Do rows times columns and then columns times rows. You're flipping your answer. The answer is 1 times 3 or 3 times 1? Good job if you got that answer correct. Okay, find the answer for this. Name the array. You should be writing a multiplication problem. Why is there only one box for this problem? Our answer is 2 times 2. There's no reason to write 2 times 2 and 2 times 2 twice. We have the same number of rows and columns, so our only multiplication sentence is 2 times 2. Now for fun, I want you to please write me a repeated addition sentence for this same problem. What would that look like? Write it on your paper. The answer would be 2 plus 2 equals, what's 2 plus 2? That's like counting by twos. 4. So we should have written 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's our repeated addition sentence. Okay, name that array, count your rows, multiply it by your columns, and switch. Our answer is 6 times 3 or 3 times 6. Would you please write a repeated addition sentence for this same problem? Your repeated addition sentence should be 6 plus 6 plus 6 or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Either way, I'm going to get the same answer. I'm going to get the answer, write it down, 18. Either way, it will equal 18. Good job. All right, let's name this array. We'll count our rows and columns and write 2 different multiplication sentences. I'll give you some time to write. Our answer was 6 times 5 or 5 times 6. Now we do repeated addition, arrays, and multiplication so that we can quickly count numbers in an easy way. So we're counting these objects together. We don't just want to make the sentences, we want to find out what the answer is. To find the answer, let's go ahead and count by sixes for each row. Okay, so we're going to count our rows left to right by 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. In your opinion, was that easy or hard to count by sixes? My opinion is that sometimes it's kind of difficult to count by sixes. Can you count by fives? Of course you can. We've practiced skip counting lots of times. You can count by fives much easier. Let's count by fives using our columns. Ready? Count with me by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Did we get the same answer? Yes, we did. That's a good sign. So our answer is 30, and it was much easier to count by fives. Try to remember that. When you're counting with arrays, count by the number that is easier to count in your multiplication sentence. Let's do another problem. Here's our next problem. Name that array using multiplication and flip your answer to get the other one. I want to see your 2 multiplication sentences in just a minute. Our answer is 4 by 4 or 4 by 4. Either way we do it, we're going to get the same answer because there are 4 rows and 4 columns in this array. Now let's make a repeated addition sentence for this array. Please write that on your paper. A repeated addition sentence for this array would look like this: 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16 when I'm counting by fours. Good job if you were writing along with me. Name this array. Use a multiplication sentence to do it, and flip your answer. Our answer is 1 times 6, or 6 times 1. We have one row going left to right, and we have 6 columns going up and down. Our answer to this problem would just be 6. I hope this lesson helped you master arrays. Remember, arrays are the step before multiplication. There's another way to say arrays with repeated addition. That's adding the same number again and again until you get your answer. Thank you for practicing with me.